Hey girl, it is Sunday, October 19th. Wake up. I know everyone is probably wondering if you listened to the birthday podcast upload. Girl, let me tell you, everybody was messaging me like, why are you so sad? What is wrong with you? Are you okay? Yes, I am okay. I am doing well. But it was the birthday blues. And I have to be authentic when it is what it is and call it what it is. So, yes, your girl was feeling a little down, but I am happy to say that it turned around. I ended up coming into work. My coworkers are the absolute sweetest. I was showered with gifts and confetti all over my desk and flowers. My office mate got me some flowers. It was the sweetest thing. And I actually felt 10 times better. Was I still missing my husband? Of course. And my daughter? Yes. But I must say it ended on a great note. I also was able to go to Sephora and, use that little birthday coupon. So I did that and I picked up some perfume called Paper that I just absolutely love. It's like my signature scent. I literally can wear Paper every single day. I love that stuff. So I went and got some more of that because I had ran out. And then I went to dinner. I went to dinner with my two younger daughters. We went to downtown San Diego, this place called STK Steakhouse. The food was delicious, you guys. I had some type of like spare rib situation going on where they put it over top of like potatoes or something. Listen, it was good. That's all I know. It was delicious. I had a great night. And now we're here. Now it's Sunday. And I'm ready to get into this podcast. So thank you to everyone who, number one, listened to the birthday upload. The messages I received them, including the ones where people were crying more than me. People called me crying more than I was crying, very concerned and just hoping that I was okay. And thank God, yes, I'm fine. But I thank you so much for caring, for reaching out, for sending me happy birthday messages and messaging me on Instagram and everything. It's a beautiful, warm feeling that I'm feeling right now. So thank you so much. And let's just get into this podcast for today. Okay. We got a bit to cover. Okay. Because I want to get back on track. Right. Now that I am 45, your girl is 45 years old. 45. I don't feel any different than 44. And I was actually asking my coworker about that. I'm like, do you know when you felt like the last time you felt different going from one age to the next? And for her, she said she hasn't felt that way in a while, maybe when she was no longer in her 20s. So I guess like turning 30. But she feels it again now that she is on her way. She's going to be 50 next March. And she's like, now that I'm about to be 50, I just have this whole different mindset. Like, I'm about to be 50. I'm grown. Okay. And I feel that 1000%. I personally haven't felt any different since my 30s. Like, I just feel like, I don't know. I still feel the same. Maybe once I hit 50, then maybe I'll start feeling a shift in the age. But yeah. So I'm 45, but I still feel 44 and 43, 42, 41, and 40. So we don't know, okay? But the plan is to make sure that we continue on our journey to set ourselves up for a graceful and beautiful 50. So that's where we're headed, okay? And without further ado, this is 40 something and nothing. I am your host, Elisha Maria Grey, and I thank you so much. I thank you for listening. I thank you for spending this Sunday with me. Come on in. Let's get it, okay? Let's just get into it. All right. So, in addition to talking about age and how you're feeling with one of my coworkers, I also had a discussion about where I'm going now that I'm 45, like what the plans are for my life. Where do I see myself going? And even though it was a conversation, and yes, I participated, I didn't give up too much of the details, right? Too much of the nitty gritty. And we are going to get into why I am so secretive the way that I am. I've been that way for quite some times, you guys, and I highly recommend that you do the same, okay? Because you ever notice, right, the second that you decide to do something that you actually feel like it's for you, right? People suddenly turn into career advisors, honorable prophets, part-time therapists. Like, are you sure that's smart? No, I'm not sure, Rebecca, but it's spiritual. And that's above your pay grade, right? And I don't mean to sound it in like a nasty, sarcastic way, but it's like if I'm receiving downloads about where I want to go in my life, where I am called to go in my life, then I don't need the naysayers and the negativity, and I just don't need that in my life. So that's what we're getting into today. Today we're talking about walking in your calling, even when no one else understands or supports it. This actually kind of goes back to the episode of friends versus allies, where I touched on the importance of, having allies in your corner. I think you could probably find this conversation spread it out through quite a few of my past episodes. So if you want to go back and listen to those, you're more than welcome to, or you're free to just hang out in this one. But I do touch on this topic quite a bit. Because, baby, sometimes it be the ones closest to you that can take your dream and kill it. Kill it before it could even have a chance to form. This is why it's important to keep your dreams and goals to yourself. Girl, when God has given you a calling, right? Let's remind ourselves that it wasn't a conference call. It just wasn't. It was a calling for you and you alone. God didn't CC your friends, your mama, your ex, your baby daddy. He called you. A direct line, point blank period. Here's what's really going on. Now, not everyone is going to agree with me, and that is okay, but here's my 3 cents that no one asked for, okay? Cent number 1, we're addicted to validation, not confirmation. I'm going to say cent number 1 again for those who didn't catch the change, okay? I'm going to say it again. We're addicted to validation, not confirmation. We want someone to co-sign what has already been signed off on. It's like, I know God said it, but let me just see if my girlfriend agrees. Because if they agree, right, it feels safer. It feels realer. It's coming from someone in the tangible 3D and not out there in the spiritual plane that we can't see, touch, feel, taste, or anything, right? So it just makes more sense to want the validation to come from the 3D realm, which is a little bit more tangible. Could make a little bit more sense for us, right? But that's how we end up allowing human opinions to water down our divine instructions. When you share your calling too early, or sometimes when you share it at all, girl, you invite people's fear into your faith. And they'll start asking questions that your spirit honestly has already answered. The answers were there before the calling was called, right? And yet here we are going down the context and asking everybody and their mama for their opinion. That means you're looking for validation. Scent number 2. We mistake community for clarity. We tell ourselves, I just want feedback. But what we really want is direction, right? We're looking for that roadmap. And girls, sometimes feedback and faith just don't mix. It's like trying to bake a cake and letting 10 people stir the batter at the same time. It's not going to rise right. When you've been given something, it comes with your name on the recipe. And too many hands in it, well, now you start to lose the flavor, the texture, right? That's not what we want. That's not what we're going for. We're mistaking having that community, having the allies. We're mistaking that for clarity. And the final scent number 3, we crave connection in the midst of our uncertainty. That's the soft part of it. Let's call it what it is. We're scared. Sometimes the calling is scary. It's going to be scary. It'll push you to limits and boundaries that you never thought you would go or reach, and that can be very terrifying. Okay. We want someone to say, you're not crazy and you're not doing it alone. And I get that. I get that 1000%. I felt alone on my birthday, right? So I get it when you feel like you're doing things alone, but you're not crazy, right? But sometimes we need someone to tell us that, because sometimes we're walking in purpose that feels like a free fall, a blindfold on. It just feels just madness all the way around. But here's the truth. The first confirmation always comes in silence, not applause. It is the quiet that is used to build your confidence. It is the quiet that is used to build your confidence. In that peace, in that quiet, with no applause, with nobody paying attention to you, nobody checking for you, and you keep going, that's building resilience. That's building your confidence, right? Because you're not looking for the gratification of it all. You're moving forward regardless. That takes guts. That takes confidence. That takes everything, okay? And if you skip that part, you end up building dependence instead of discipline. And you'll end up right back at the first scent of needing validation. If you have your dream and your goal and you start to build it up depending on the applause or the approval or the validation of others, then when you don't have that one like that you're looking for on your post, that one great comment that you're hunting for underneath your video, then you will always be chasing the validation instead of truthfully living in your moment, in your dream, in your calling. So the silence is needed sometimes. That'll build the resistance. That will build the confidence that you need to carry your goals and your dreams on your own without the validation, without the applause, without the checking on you, checking for you, right? It'll be like that sometimes. Bottom line is, we overshare because we want company and a calling that was never meant to be crowded. We got to learn to let the vision grow roots before we start passing out fruit. Let me tell you how I learned that lesson at a very young age in a very harsh way, okay? I will never, and when I mean never, I mean never, ever, ever, okay? Well, I forget this day. I was 10 years old. Yes, 10 years. We going back, way back to 1990. I was 10 years old. And I came rushing home from school so excited because my school announced that they were going to have a talent show. And little Lish knew how to sing. Okay. My godmother raised me in the church where I sung every Sunday, every Wednesday after Bible study, before Bible study started for devotional. Every week I was in church singing several times out of the week. I was on school choirs and everything. So talent show in the bag. Got it. Okay. Locked in. I was so excited, rushing home, trying to figure out what song am I going to sing? Am I going to do something a little bit like, I was just over the moon excited. And then when I got home, my beautiful aunt, may she rest in peace, my Aunt Zena was the first one at home, the first person I saw when I walked through the door. And I blurted it out like, oh my gosh, Aunt Zena, the school is having a talent show. I want to sing. And she looked at me and said that her girlfriend's daughter sings much better than I do. And I immediately, when I tell you, you guys, now I've never been upset with my aunt. That's my aunt, okay? And you say something wrong about my aunt, I'm gonna come for you, okay? But in that moment, I really was hurt because I was so excited. And I don't think she understands how saying that, how letting me know that she knew someone who sung much better than I did, how that hurt me. It really hurt me. And I immediately regretted telling her about it because I felt like she was right. There was a possibility that she was correct, that maybe I really can't sing. And maybe my godmother is delusional for even having me sing at church 17 times every week. Maybe she was right. And so I backed out. I decided not to sing, even though there was a small little voice in me that I knew for a fact that I could do it, but it was already too late. My dream had been killed. The moment was gone. And I was so sad. And I watched other little girls go up there and perform. And I just was screaming out on the inside, like, that should be me. I learned in that moment that some things is best kept for yourself. And that's why I am not upset with my aunt. That's why I wasn't upset with her in that moment either. It was a moment that taught me something, and everything I feel happens for a reason. I needed for Aunt Zena to do that in order for me to know that everything ain't for everybody. Some things is best kept quiet. Since that day, I tend to stay quiet about a lot of things going on in my life. What I'm working on, what I'm doing, who I'm with, when I get married. Sometimes I don't even tell people when I get married, you guys. Okay, my marriage is a secret. Because things that I am working on or doing 99.9% of my life, of the time of my life, is a series of the most craziest events that would make most people say, please don't do that. Please don't. Just don't do that. That's crazy. Why are you doing that? But those crazy things have also been some of the truest things I have ever done. They have shaped and molded me into the most adventurous, amazing woman I've ever met in my life. And I wouldn't change it for the world. Not many can understand that. And I don't let it bother me at all. Because again, the vision wasn't sent to their inbox. It was delivered to mine and mine alone. You do not have the password to my email. So I don't expect you to be reading the same calling or be on the same page with me. Sometimes the calling comes with a do not disturb sign, right? People mean well, but they can't see what you see. And I won't ever try to explain Wi-Fi to someone who's still using dial-up. It's just not going to work. It's a waste of time. They're just not on your frequency, sis. Not at all. The moves that you want to make are for you alone. Your calling wasn't on speakerphone. It was just you and your source. For me, God, on the line, right? Let's be real. When you start walking in purpose, life just stops making sense, okay? You're crying in your car, praying in your shower, questioning every decision. And God's looking down like, exactly. Now you're listening. Now I got your attention. That discomfort, that's not punishment. It's preparation. You'll be put in a season where your only option is faith. No crowd, no clapping, no certainty, no money, no real plan, okay? Just faith. And to be honest, if it were a conference call, you'd have 12 people all talking at the same time. Everybody trying to talk over God. How y'all all talking at the same time? It would be a mess. You need quiet to catch the full download. It's the divine do not disturb era for me. I don't know about you, but it's the divine please do not disturb. Okay. No, I'm not talking about what I'm doing next. Honestly, even if I was going to talk about it, it definitely wouldn't make sense because most of the things that I do next don't even really have a sure, solid plan. It's just free fall, okay, over on this side. And I just roll with it. You'll probably lose a few people like this. Lose a bit of your own comfort zone, but I promise you, you will gain clarity. We have a habit of over explaining, trying to justify every move to people who don't even know their own purpose. When you're called, you don't need a focus group. So stop watering down your divine instruction for people who wouldn't drink from that cup anyway. Your happiness is your proof that you're on the right track. Your peace is your proof that you're on the right track. It just feels right. It feels aligned. Sometimes it makes you giddy. It ignites an excitable fear or gives you butterflies. That is your confirmation. That is your green light. So next time somebody says, I don't understand what you're doing, smile. Just smile and say, you're not supposed to. It wasn't your call. It just wasn't. Be prepared for the silent season. And I know this part all too well. The quiet grind. That season when no one's cheering for you, nobody's noticing, and you're wondering if you're even doing it right. I'm experiencing this right now, right in this exact moment with this podcast. That's the training ground. Slow growth, not instant gratification. The silence that I feel, the side eyes that I get, the 0 subscribers, 0 listeners for weeks at a time, that's not failure to me. That's faith. That is faith taking root and growing, okay? Because no, I will not give up. And I go through weeks and weeks and weeks of uploads where 0 listeners is what I'm seeing on the back end. When I check my analytics, 0 listeners, 0 new subscribers for weeks at a time. Enough to make a person be like, you know what? This is it. This is the last upload. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because for me, that's not failure. That's my faith. My faith understands that, yeah, right now it's crickets, but it's going to grow. Mark my words, okay? On October 19th, it is going to grow. And I'm not going to tell you what my next move will be, but just know that you will listen to this one day and you'll be like, she said it. She said it was going to grow. The girl, listen, she said what she said. You don't need validation when you've got direction, when you've got faith, when you just know it, you can feel it in your gut. Sometimes you will be pulled off the grid just so you stop performing and start becoming. I'm fine with not no subscribers, and because honestly, it gives me the freedom to just post whatever I feel like I want to post, right? And hopefully somebody will enjoy it. But when you start to bank your gifts and your calling on the validation, then you start performing, right? You start only uploading what you think people want to hear. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that on my end, right? So I take this silence that I am experiencing. I take the 0 subscribers that I am experiencing, and I'm okay with it. It's like 5 of us in the room, and that is more than enough for me. We also need to recognize that our purpose has its own language. Your calling will sound like gibberish to people who aren't tuned in. You're speaking purpose. They are speaking panic. Okay? Purpose and panic, that is not the same thing. They'll hit you with, but what if it doesn't work? That one right there gets me every time. I can't tell you how many times people have said that to me. What if it doesn't work? And I'm always like, what if it does though? Like, put that smile. Can you feel the smile that's on my face right now? What if it does? Oh my gosh. Like, what if it does work? If the things that is in my spirit right now work according to the way that I know it's going to work, oh baby, you're not gonna be able to tell me nothing. Okay. One of my closest friends from college, okay, Carrie called me. What did she call me? She was like, you're a mogul. She called me a mogul. What? Yes, I am. I am a mogul. Don't play with me. Okay. That is what is driving me. That I guess could be called delusion. That's my driving force, okay? Because I know where I'm going. I don't need to share it with the world. You will see. You will see where this goes. I'm not speaking panic. I'm speaking purpose. And everything works out according to my good. Everything works out according to my highest good. But see, that's why you can't explain everything when you're talking faith and they're talking fear. The translation fails every time. Let them think you're delusional. Let them whisper. You're not supposed to make sense. You're supposed to make an impact. And as the mogul that I know that I am, thank you, Carrie, for reminding me of that, okay? I'm making an impact. Every visionary sounds a little crazy until the vision speaks for itself. So stop it, girl. I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. Stop trying to subtitle your calling. Let your results do the talking. All right, so I said quite a bit. Already. Let's get into how do we stop doing this? How do we stop? Before you pick up the phone, pick up your journal. Sit with the idea that was given to you for at least a week and let it marinate. Ask yourself, am I sharing because I'm excited or because I need reassurance? If it's the reassurance that you need, Take it back to God. Take it back to the beginning, not the group chat. Learn to be okay with being misunderstood for a season. It is okay to be misunderstood for a season. Callings come with confidentiality agreements. It is not an open forum. You can still have community. You can still have your girlfriend time, your spouse time, the family time, but every vision doesn't need a committee. It just doesn't. When you feel that urge to share, pause, breathe, whisper a thank you instead of a guess what. Your calling doesn't need PR. Not yet anyway. It needs privacy. All right, so that's today, because I promise you I've been getting a lot of questions, and it's coming from genuine places for the most part. So I can't even say anything negative about it. People genuinely want to know, where are you going from here? People want to know, where is this podcast going from here? How are you making money from it? I'm not discussing that. I'm not disclosing that. And no, that's not gatekeeping. That's me having my dream and protecting it, keeping it dear to me. You will see whether it's making me money or not. You will see. You'll be able to tell. You will know where the podcast is going because you will see the growth in the podcast yourself. I don't need to discuss or announce. All right, so that's today's episode. And of course, my love, I have a few affirmations. So let's get into them. I hope you are in a space where you can place your hands over your heart, perhaps close your eyes and just relax. But if not, feel free to come back to this when you are, okay? It is my calling and not up for public discussion. It is my calling and not up for public discussion. I release the need for validation. Peace is my confirmation. I release the need for validation. Peace is my confirmation. My purpose is not a group project. It's a divine assignment. My purpose is not a group project. It's a divine assignment. Every step I take in faith is evidence that I trust the voice within me. Every step I take in faith is evidence that I trust the voice within me. Okay, girl. So I hope this helps you to answer the call, not the comments. You don't need a cheer squad when you've got self-clarity. So protect your purpose, protect your calling, and remember, if they don't get it, it's confirmation that you're on the right frequency. Until next Sunday, I love you. Be blessed, be well, keep your dreams tight, get yourself a journal, and I will talk to you on Sunday.